Good morning, everyone. I am vlogging. So I think I vlogged last week and I wasn't able to vlog after clinical on Friday because I said I'm going to be doing these like weekly vlogs on Friday to kind of like sum up my week of my third semester of nursing school and everything. And I think I just like completely forgot because after clinical I was so tired. I was like, I'm gonna go home and take a nap. That's all I could think of was a nap. So right now I am on my way to work. It is Monday. It is rainy. It's just so gray outside. So I'm on my way to work right now. I love this. This is from Bath and Body Works. I always keep a little lotion in my car because my hands get so dry. And I don't know if you know this, my mom always said that people can tell how old you are based off of how like wrinkly whatever, like they can just look at your hands and tell like your age, you know, like tell you that you might be older or whatever. So I don't know about you, but I always try to stay moisturized and keep my hands moisturized, and my hands just happen to be the one place that like gets the driest the easiest. So I always keep lotion like everywhere. Like I have lotion all over because yeah, girl is trying to stay as young as possible for as long as possible. Okay. So last week was my second week of school for the summer. It feels like it's been literally 5 weeks already. But last week was my second week of school, and this week is my third week that we're heading into. I have my first test this week in my med-surg class, my advanced med-surg, which is I guess like nursing 3, I guess is the equivalent. So I have a test in that class this week, and so I'm like studying for that, and I feel unprepared because it's a lot of information that they gave us and like this amount of time to get it all into my head. So it's a lot of meds. Again, we don't have a separate pharmacology class, so everything's like included in the course, like everything's just kind of incorporated. So I have like a lot of meds to study for because we did learn about cancer and hematology, which is like the study of like blood diseases and stuff like that, has a lot of meds, new meds that we haven't looked at. Whereas our first lecture was in diabetic ketoacidosis and HHS or HHNS, which is like hyperglycemic hyperosmolar syndrome or something like that, and they both have to do with diabetes and blood sugar. And so that's going to be on the test. Also, what else is on the test? Respiratory, we went more in depth in respiratory. So like every class builds on the last one. So last semester we started respiratory, where we learned like COPD and things like that, and this semester we go more in depth. So now we're talking about like carcinoma of the lungs and pneumothoraxes, hemothorax, you know, all that, like chest tubes, stuff like that is going to be on the test. And then cancer and hematology, which was like a chunk as well. That's all I've learned in the last 2 weeks, and I feel a little bit overwhelmed because, you know, it's just a lot. So, and then I think next week I have my first checkoff and my only checkoff of the summer, which is changing a dressing for CVO, which is central line dressing. And a central line is basically a IV line that goes directly into, I think, the subclavian or heart, one of the major vessels of the heart. So it goes right in there, right into the right atrium. So I think the tip like sits in your right atrium of your heart. So it's a very sterile procedure because hello, it's like right into your heart. So that's one of the major checkoffs that we have this semester, and so I am going to do that next week. But first I gotta get past this first test. Tomorrow's Tuesday, and I have maternal child's class lecture tomorrow. So my schedule is really booked because I am trying to work and go to school. And if you don't know, well, you probably don't know because I wasn't on here at all basically last semester. I got into a car accident last in March. And so right after my car accident, I'm okay. Well, I'm okay, basically. I just kind of like messed up my back, and my back was already messed up from a previous car accident in 2013. So it kind of just made it worse. And so I've been going to therapy, physical therapy, for the last like I guess 8 weeks. And so last week was my last week of therapy, thank God. Now I just have to go like once a month for maintenance, kind of like just keep it up, see the chiropractor, have him adjust me, stuff like that. So I'm glad to be done with that, because it was such an inconvenience to be like going there when I really want to go to work and like get some hours in, because I really don't make a lot of money right now and I still have bills to pay. And again, my parents are trying to help me as much as they can, but of course like they have their own stuff, and like I can't always ask them for money or whatever to help. So last week I had clinical, my first clinical for med-surg this semester, and I have to go into work right now, so I'll be back later to tell you about that experience. Believe it or not, it's been like 7 or 8 hours since I have been on here. You probably can tell because of how I look. So I was going to tell you about my clinical. So I have clinical in a med-surg unit in a pretty big hospital, and but it's like an older part of the hospital, and I like literally, the floor is like, you know. My clinical instructor is really good. Like, I feel like I'm learning a lot from her. She's kind of reminding me of my clinical instructor for my first semester, who was super, I don't know if I think I remember talking about her, but she was like super, she was a little intense, like, but she was just trying to teach us early because we needed it. And thank God for that, because I would be in a completely different position right now if it wasn't for her. I've been thinking about her because like she literally, my new clinical instructor this semester reminds me so much of her, because she also, I believe, expects a lot from us. Not like a lot, but she does. She expects us to know our stuff, you know, like know as much as we can. I don't think any of them expect us to know everything like 100%. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that's possible, and I think they're realistic about it. I think they expect us to know what we are being taught. And then if we know more than that, then that's awesome, you know? So clinical was good. This is my med-surg clinical, and so I have 9 of these dates, I believe. 9? I believe it's 9 of them. And they're about 10 hours each. We're there from 6:30 to 4:30. And it's a long day, but it goes by fairly fast, especially when you have like a post-conference that basically it's kind of like a breakdown of the day, like what you guys went about doing, and like what you guys did that day, and kind of like your goals for the following week and stuff like that. So I don't know, but I thought it was really good. I realized that there are a couple things I want to brush up on prior to going back to clinical. I really want to brush up on my skills, like head-to-toe assessments. That's probably like the first semester. That's what you're learning a lot of in health assessment, is like your head-to-toe. You know, like every nurse is supposed to do like a head-to-toe assessment beginning a shift, and then another assessment like mid-shift or towards the end, you know? And so I feel like I could always brush up on that. Like I feel like I'm okay at it, but I feel like there's things I miss, and I just want to get better at it. So definitely gonna be brushing up on that like prior to going to clinical on Friday. So I'm on like a cardiac telemetry, and telemetry is like just like that cardiac monitoring, you know. So a lot of cardiac cases, basically patients that have cardiac issues or that need cardiac monitoring, are on the floor. I really didn't, my nurse that I have, and if you're going into nursing, like you'll find out that like some nurses during clinical or practicum or whatever, some of them are willing to teach, and then some of them are not. And what they just have to understand, regardless of if they are or not, like the nurses there are not responsible for you. And then also at the end of the day, like, they chose to work at a teaching hospital, so then they're gonna have students, you know. But I think just being open to learning anything that you can from the nurse is good. Asking questions but not annoying them is good. And then offering your help whenever possible is also good. Not to say like suck up to them and be like, oh my gosh, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, but just show that you're willing to like lend a helping hand and willing to just be like available, you know. Like if they're like running back and forth with patients and like their afternoon vitals are due, like don't wait to be like, oh, to have him or her be like, yo, take my vitals. Just offer like, hey, do you want me to take your afternoon vitals? I can go ahead and do that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like little things that you can do. I think that would help them out, even if they are not really open to having a student, or they're not really like trying to help you out or whatever, like teach you. That's okay. Like, I just feel like the best you can do is to do your best. You know what I'm saying? Like, do the best that you can do and try your hardest and show that you're willing to learn. Like, and if they don't want you around, then don't be around them. Like, just do what you gotta do, you know? Look for learning opportunities somewhere else. I've had both kinds of nurses. I've had nurses that were super willing to help me and like just like, oh, I have a student, all right, you're gonna be with me all day, like, let's go, you know, and like kind of like go through the routine with me. And then I've had nurses that have been like, oh, okay, you're my student, and then like I didn't see them the entire day, you know what I'm saying? So the way my clinical instructor is kind of doing it is, now that we're in our third semester, you know, there's going to be a point when we're supposed to be able to handle like a full amount of nurses, like patients, like at least 4 patients, you know, 4 to 6 patients. And my teacher is slowly kind of working us into that. So right now she is giving us 2 each. And so like this whole time we've been in school, I've only had like 1 patient, designated patient, even though you help like all the patients, you know, whatever. But I had like 1 patient where like I was responsible for getting vital signs, I was responsible for you know, head to toe assessment, and just like being their nurse basically, you know, that extra nurse, I guess. So I had 2 patients that day. One of them I actually didn't see most of the day because they were in surgery, and then the other one I was with them for most of my shift. I basically just did head to toe, and then I helped give some bed baths. And you give a lot of bed baths in nursing school, a lot of baths in general, and changing. I mean, you have to think that this job, I think, requires, I know it requires a lot of compassion, and there are things that you're not going to want to do. You have to go through the grime and like the things that you don't want to do prior to that. And I think just constantly reminding myself why I'm here and who I'm helping and stuff like that, like knowing that these people are sick, they're in an uncomfortable situation, they don't want to be in the hospital. So I think just being able to be there for the patient, you know, is such a help, you know, to be an attentive nurse and to also listen to your patient, assess not only just their like physical but also their mental. You know, I feel like that's really important. I just try to maintain that compassion while I'm at the hospital or whatever situation I'm in. I try to maintain the fact that like, hey, like, these people don't want to be here, and I wouldn't want to be here either. And there are certain people that are unable to do what I'm able to do. They're unable to walk, they're unable to give themselves a bath, or just even like turn the TV on or stuff like that, you know, like they require assistance. And I think like it just humbles you as a person, you know. And I spoke about this like last semester about just being humbled by the situations I was in long-term care, and I'm still to this day very humble for the fact that like there's some really sick people in this world, and like just being able to help them is just, it just makes all the difference. This was our first Friday there. We had to like learn where everything is, you know, and like within like 10 minutes of us being on the floor, I feel like the nurse manager is like shouting like, hey, you nursing student, go get a oxygen tank. And like we're all looking like, where's the oxygen tanks? Because like we just like, this is our first day, we don't know where anything is. So there's always going to be moments when you just feel like, I just feel like I feel stupid. Like I texted my friend the same day and I was like, is there ever a point where I stop feeling dumb? Like I stop feeling like I know nothing, because I feel like I know nothing. Because that's just how you feel. You feel like, did I learn this, or was I supposed to know this? Because I don't remember learning this, you know what I'm saying? And then there's like, you look at some people and you're like, oh my gosh, like how did you know that? Like they just know. Like there's certain people that are just like exceptionally smart, and they just like know the answer so quick, or they know more than what the answer is. Like, and you're just like, whoa, why are you so smart? And how can I be that way, you know? But I think that the most important thing is not to compare yourself to other people, because that can really get you down. Like it can really get you down if you start comparing yourself to others. You know, we don't all learn the same, and we don't all have the like same life experiences. So we just have to kind of like take it day by day and kind of just do what we can as from who you are, you know, from your experience and from what you're learning, you know, and learn from each other. Like if you have a friend in your program or in school in general, like if you have a friend that's better at something than you, like get with them and learn from them. I know it's like people are always talking about getting study groups and stuff like that, and I hate study groups, but I've never utilized study groups more than I have now in nursing school. Like I am always trying to study with my friends, or at least more than normal, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm at least always trying to meet them at least once a week to study together, because like I just know that they know something that I don't know, and they probably know a good way to remember the thing that I don't know, and I should probably get with them so they can teach me. So that's kind of like my advice. Otherwise, last week was super busy. Everything was just back to back, and again, like, you know, I'm just trying to like do it all right now. Right now, I just got off work and I'm heading home. I forgot my freaking headphones, so I'm heading home because I want to go to the gym, because I am on this weight loss journey, and it's the hardest thing in the world, because like right now, because I am always on the go and I'm just like super tired all the time. So my mom got me all these supplements and stuff to take so that I don't like crash and burn. So let's hope they work. I just wanted to like really just give you guys an update on just like my weekly vlog, you know. I'll try to vlog again on Friday after clinical to tell you if I've had any new experiences and what I learned. Again, this past Friday was a lot of just getting acclimated to the situation that I was in, and then also just like learning how to handle different types of people. My nurse was she just really, I could tell she didn't really want me around, and so I feel like that kind of made it a little hard for me, because I was trying not to be like, take it personal, you know, but I just don't understand when like these nurses, like they were in the same position I was in, and especially young ones, you know, like young nurses, like you were just here very recently, and to know exactly how I'm, and like, you know how I'm feeling, so to go through it and then have those same feelings, and to know how I'm feeling, and then not be willing to like teach, or just like even just show me like just how you get through the day, and you know how you do certain things, you know, separate differently from other people. Like I think it's kind of messed up. Like I just like feel like when I'm a nurse, like when I do become a nurse, and if I am working at a teaching hospital where we have students, I really want to help the students. I want to ease their anxiety and just like help, like give them tips on like how to do things, like, you know, to get things done time management wise, or just like tips and tricks on how to like assess, or like you know, just like little things. Like, I really, to just make life easier on them and me. Like, I feel like, why not? You know, like, you just really can't take it personal. And like, that's my thing. Like, I'm really trying to take my own advice and not take it personal. Like, she could have been having a hard day that day. Who knows? You know, I don't know. Hashtag don't take it personal. You know what I'm saying? You live and you learn. So from that situation, I'm going to take it as a positive. I'm going to turn that loss into a lesson and say that I'm not going to be like that when I'm a nurse. I hope not. Thank you for watching, guys. I hope this was helpful. And if it wasn't, I apologize. I know I just like to talk a lot. So I feel like vlogs are made for talking, you know? So we'll catch you guys in the next one. Just go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. I would really appreciate it. And if you have any questions on school or nursing school or whatever, go ahead and leave them down below. Maybe I can do like a Q&A on nursing school. Or like curly hair, like if you have any questions on curly hair. I haven't posted a curly hair video in a minute because like I don't do much to my hair because of school. Like, I just don't have time. So, alright, y'all. Anyways, thanks for watching. Bye.